Well, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good. Good.
Love that background. Love all the equipment. I think as a guy that likes cool cars, this may be a prep for me to come and visit you guys later and do some upgrades on my pickup truck.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks for doing this today. We've started this new series where we get a chance to do an interview with small businesses around the metro that are really leaning into change right now and thinking about both what's happening to everybody in the moment and then what's going to potentially happen coming out of this. And you guys have been lifted up as a real good news story as a business that has adapted well to change. And what I wanted to do is just give us a chance to hear from you guys what's going on. So I've got a couple questions, but first, before we do that, maybe just tell me about yourselves and kind of give me your backstory.
I don't know. You want to go? You want the our personal backstory or company backstory?
No, yeah, well, if you want to do both, I'm kidding. Maybe the company, give me the company backstory.
Yeah.
The company backstory is it started the company in 1986 in California, doing a variety of audio products. Some were in the car audio realm, some were in marine audio. The over time, we shifted more towards the studio. We were building studio monitors, near field monitors for recording, so people could hear precisely what they were doing.
Nice.
We at that point, as we were growing, there was some difficulty in getting cabinets built in California. The EPA requirements were coming down, and it was difficult. If any furniture businesses spraying lacquers and anything with solvents had to be recovered, and so it was a pretty big hit to the industry there. We were having difficulty finding cabinets. We had then talked to Richard Clemens, who was at the Chamber
Yeah.
of Economic Development, and
Yeah.
he invited us back, and we took a tour of facilities and things that were in the state. Altec and some other companies were big in the audio side in those days, so there was a lot of support businesses that were familiar with our types of products. So we ended up moving back to Oklahoma, still doing a lot of the studio products, and we started migrating more and more into manufacturing the raw parts like these here to specialize more in the studio products that we were doing. That led to other companies asking us if we could build these types of products for them. So we ended up pivoting towards, call it OEM manufacturing, original equipment manufacturing. So they would get specifications from these other companies of the product they need built, and we would build that. Then as the 90s started to wane, some other countries were much more efficient cost-wise at building mass volume of OEM equipment. So we started migrating again back towards our own brand, and this type of product here was from that evolution of building and selling our own brand through the 2000s and to where we are today. So we started moving out of the OEM business and just focusing on building this product here.
So, in a normal world, who's your target customer? Who's your target audience for your product right now?
The majority of are going to be specialty installers in the car audio market worldwide.
Okay.
So, and as cars get more complex, it's difficult to just crack them open. Back in the days, you could just change a head unit and throw in a couple speakers. Now everything's just integrated. So there's more people. If you want to make a change to your system, you have to come to somebody who's got experience in how the electronic interface works. So we sell to those types of installation expertise shops. So we sell directly to those dealers in the U.S., and then we sell to distributors worldwide. So just about any continent you can buy a DD system these days.
That's really cool. And it looks like you've got, and I've seen and heard about your headphones. Tell us about your sort of more consumer-based products.
These are, we don't build these here. Most of these types of parts aren't really available in the U.S. anymore, the way that global manufacturing has changed. But these are high quality headphones. The suppliers that we use are more on the professional side of things. So they sell equipment for higher end precise devices. So the driver elements are very good. This is a Bluetooth set, noise canceling. So you can hook it up for your TVs, phones, personal products. We have a wired set that's got larger elements in it, a little bit more for just higher end audio. And then we also have in-ear earbuds. And these are all done with walnut cabinets that house the drivers.
That's really cool. As like I said, as a car guy and a guy that just likes cool stuff, probably visiting the website here after this phone call. Tell us about, the last couple of weeks have really disrupted all of us, I think it's fair to say, in either personal ways or business ways. And we've heard that you guys are one of the companies that has done a really good job of adapting right now in this moment to some new manufacturing needs. Can you tell us about that journey and where you're going as it relates to, producing some new products that are needed kind of in this moment?
Well, we sat down and discussed what we could do to help with what was needed out there right now. We saw a couple articles on 3D models, 3D printer face shield models. So we looked at those to see how long it would take to print those. There's some open files that people have done out there so that a lot of folks could help out in this. And what it came down to is they're really printing a flat piece, but it just takes a long time to print that. So the throughput wasn't going to be very high. We have a laser CNC cutter. So we looked at those designs and some other disposable designs, because the PPE need is so high that they have to change the equipment so often that they're throwing away a lot of material. So we combined several designs and came up with a flat design that had tabs that we could use standard clear transparency sheets, which would be easy to dispose. And you can just change the sheets as you need, 5, 10, 20 times. And so we cut this on the laser. We found some foam that we could cut on our laser and elastic, and came up with a design that was much faster to produce. So we can cut enough parts to do about 500 a day as opposed to 10 a day. And we shared those open source files out so that anybody, we had some customers in Spain and places that were also in heavy need of PPE, so he could get those files out to companies that had similar equipment in Spain.
So tell us about your channel. I love to hear that you guys use those open source files to design. How are you getting this new equipment out into the supply chain and into the end user?
That's probably the most difficult part of the whole thing, because we're not in that supply chain. So Oklahoma County Health heard about this and they contacted us. So we built some for them. A few other people have heard that. We've been working with Dale Rogers for 10 years, and they are also looking for some ways to help. So they've started doing some of the assembly of these. We can cut more than we can assemble, and so with their sources, some Tinker needed some. So what we're really looking at now is just finding people that are more in this lane of how can we just continue to build, or manufacturing is more of our forte, and then like with Kevin, marketing and audio is our forte. Trying to get the word out to people who need these isn't really part of our lane. So that's what we're reaching out to see what we can do.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I think everyone's trying to figure out the channel side of this and getting it out. it's interesting to hear that the city county health department reached out to you guys. I think, is that I think from an organization standpoint, that's one thing we're trying to figure out is how to help the channels work as well as possible in this time. What advice would you give other manufacturers or other businesses that are thinking about transitioning business lines right now, either PPE stuff or just overall advice you'd give as they're trying to figure out how to kind of make it through this moment?
I don't know about general advice. We've been just winging it, ourselves. But
Yeah.
looking to see what you have that you're using and analyzing what people are trying to do. I see it with the face masks and we looked at that. Our equipment, in laser we could cut it, but wasn't going to be as efficient. So we settled more on plastic type parts, fit what we did and where we'd have the highest, benefit. So it's got to see what you do and where you can help, be it on the marketing side. Maybe it's just helping to get the word out on things if that's what your company does.
Just lean in. It sounds like
Yeah, it's just like you're saying. It's just analyze what you have available to work with and take those resources and see how you can repurpose them. Like we use the laser to cut parts for our subwoofers, and then that's where we started looking at the stuff. So, well, lasers can cut anything. Why can't it cut these plastic pieces for these face shields? And the response for these things have actually, it's hard to get them out, but we've had several of our dealers call in and request, like, can I get 500 of these sent out to a nursing home in my area? And this has been nationwide. So we've actually have more orders than we can fulfill, and we elected to do local first, and then if we were able to do more than that, we were going to branch out. And that's why we've enlisted the help of like Dale Rogers to help, because we, as Jessa said, we can cut more parts than we can assemble. And then we've actually had a few other local people in a business incubator that's close to us have actually picked up parts and assembled some parts that we're cutting. So we're, like I said, it's just looking at your resources and seeing what you can do with those outside of the scope of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
I think your story is really incredible. It's great to see you guys. Well, first of all, just the partnerships that you already have in the community with Dale Rogers and Incubator and folks like that, but also just how you continue to lean in. Tell us how people can find you and buy your normal products. But if you're interested, had a real interest in talking to you about sort of the partnership side on the PPE, how they could get in touch and just find you guys.
Well, as far as the headphones and things like that, it's just ddaudio.com. Simple as that. And you can go on there if you're interested in the home and personal stuff. That's on the website for just anybody. We work through a retail network of dealers. We do not sell our car audio brand online because we support small businesses. That is our business model. Right. It's kind of unique in our industry, but it's served us very well. So you can go on there and look for a local dealer. We have, if I'm not mistaken, 5 local dealers, and that's where you can find the car audio products. You can always come to our facility, but you can go there for installation and purchase of those products. As far as the PPE, it sells at DD Audio. And our sales manager is the one who's heading up all the incoming requests. So, but just sales at ddaudio.com. If they have a question about the PPE, and they can get answers through that channel.
Well, thank you both for both this conversation and also what you're doing in the community. It's I think we all acknowledge that small businesses are the ones that make up the texture of both our regional economy and the American economy. And just to have folks like you guys that are really leaning in this time, I think it makes us all really appreciative of the work you're doing. So thank you guys. Hopefully that when this time abates, we can have another conversation with you about just normal stuff, and look forward to that time. So thank you guys both for everything you're doing and for what the company's doing. Maybe one more shout out from your side about the website and how to connect.
Okay. Yep. Just ddaudio.com. And yeah, you can check out everything we have to offer on the consumer side there.
Perfect.
If anybody has any ideas on PPE or people that'd like to get in on the assembly side of things as well, just give us a shout.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both. And yeah, about to jump on your website and look at those headphones.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.